Station number 3, evaluating functions from a graph. So for these problems, you're going to be examining 3 different graphs and answering the questions about them. The questions that you should be asking yourself as you answer these questions are, when examining a graph, which is part of my domain and which is a part of my range? How do I determine if a graph is a function, and what does it mean if my graph has a hole? Provided the graph of y equals f of x below, answer the questions that follow. If I look at these questions, the first one says, is this graph a function, and to explain. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I know that if I want to see if a graph is a function, I use the vertical line test. So I'm going to draw a vertical line, and I'm going to move it along my graph. If I move it along my graph, I always hit my graph once and only once. So I can say that this is a function because it passes the vertical line test. Now it says determine the value of f of 0. So if I look, when I plug in 0, that's asking me for a x value. So I want to find out what happens at x equals 0. So I go over to x equals 0, which is right here. I go down and I hit nothing. I go up and I go up and I go up and I stop and I hit the number 1. So I can say f of 0 is equal to 1. Part C says, for what values of x does f of x equal 1? If you look, I'm going to want to draw a line going through y equals 1, because f of x is a fancy way of saying y equals. So I'm going to draw a line going through y equals 1, and if you look, I hit my graph 3 times. I hit my graph right here, here, and here. So I have 3 different x values. They are -1, 0, and 2. So I can say x is equal to -1, x is equal to 0, and x is equal to 2. And those are the values of x, where f of x is equal to 1.